So it's a big deal because this is the true story of UFOs, of what's been going on with our government and everything else. So, because I studied UFOs for like 20 years, and I was like, I figured out what's going on, not just like the bullshit you read or think. Like I figured out what's going on, and I was like, shit, if I put this out there and open my big mouth, I might get in a lot of trouble. So I should probably go ask for some permission. So I spent like a long time working my way in, and then I got into a group of people, and they brought me in, and I was given all the permission. So then I come out with a book, and I go on national radio and all this shit. Well, apparently that group didn't really talk to another group of some other 3-letter places, and those other places got really fucking pissed because here's this fucking rock star kid like telling the biggest national security secrets that we got, period. And that like all this really classified crazy shit, I figured that out on my own. Hillary Clinton was running for presidency against, I guess it was against Trump, and John Podesta was her campaign manager.
Okay.
At the time, he was also senior advisor to Obama. So I was holding conversations with Podesta to get to Obama, and I had 2 multi-star generals from Space Command and the head of Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, that Skunk Works built Area 51, their elite engineering division. I had them all on this like fucking emails, and we're setting up these conference calls and stuff. Well, Hillary Clinton's campaign got hacked by the Russians, WikiLeaks. When all these news journalists were pouring through WikiLeaks to see what spilled from Hillary's campaign, they found these fucking emails with me and Podesta talking to these generals about UFOs. What happened though is it gave me all this credibility, because then all of a sudden all these other people in the government knew that I was like hanging around with some big boys. So they all came out and said, there's a better way to do what you're doing. And so the company came out to the public, founded by myself, one of the heads of the CIA, and the head physicist for the UFO program. And then I hired the program director, the guy that ran the UFO program. And then I brought on another like 8 people from the DOD and the CIA. So they're all part of my company. The significance of UFOs is multiple parts, but number one, it's not what you think it is. It's not coming from other planets. The evidence doesn't suggest that.
Interdimensional.
Yes. And the reason is because time is parallel. It's not linear, or it's not like we start here and go forward in time. Time is side by side, which means everything in the past and the future is existing in this moment, but within different frequencies. So a civilization that's at the end of their technological cycle could build a submarine that changes its voltage and materializes in that same location, just into our timeline. And then fucking, it's crazy. So there's a consciousness aspect to this. Like you have to think of like, consciousness is like, it's like the mind of God.
Right.
Everything you see is one band of frequencies. Yeah. The highest frequency is light, unified mind. The lowest frequency would be blackness, absence of love, absence of whatever. Right. And physical matter is somewhere right in the middle, right? So you have the ability to tune up higher or tune down lower, and behavior and all these things and time, and it all fucking comes together. But what it means also is that your brain is what's called a transducer. You're an antenna. Consciousness. So you create matter, and when you think something, it creates it. And you're not reactionary to your environment. You're actually proactive, and you just don't know it. So it really matters what you choose to see and feel, because that's literally what's being created for you. And people don't know this shit. So when you're like really into some crazy shit, the universe will start creating things, and we just think it's paranormal. So you're a transducer of your environment. You're an antenna plugging into all these frequencies, and once you go, oh, that book is moving, it'll move. You know, so it's fucking crazy. It's like our universe, it's just not what we think it is. And the whole thing with UFOs is that they're fucking around with us because of that.
Should we not be using the term aliens?
Yeah, alien
UFO?
is hard only because it's like, that makes us think it's coming from Mars or some shit, or a different planet. Right. These are more like entities. These are more like, but the reality is too, is UFOs have been around forever. Like you're talking biblical, you're talking religions, you're talking
the pyramids.
The pyramids, you're talking the Star of Bethlehem is not a star. The sun is big. The Star of Bethlehem is like a little ball of light that 3 dudes on horses followed for days, and it hovered over a manger. there's just like your bandwidth, your fiber optic cable just to like consciousness, which is like the one power that powers the atom, that permeates everything, and we're all from it. What's really going on is like space time, they call it space time, is because if you light a flashlight, that light travels for infinity. So if you were to, like when we see a star, they always tell you you're seeing like, we're seeing what happened like 30,000 years ago because that light just got here. So we're essentially seeing the beginning. We're seeing the same star, but we're seeing a different point in time than where it's at, but we're looking at it. And that's the idea that I think in space, the way things stretch out with light is the way everything exists all in one moment. I wish that was the case. The evidence doesn't suggest that's the case. I think UFOs don't want us getting too powerful. I don't think that, because you don't just look at the nuclear weapons. You got to go back thousands of years and go, in the earliest documentations of mankind's encounters with the spirit world, what was happening, just macro brushstroke.
Okay.
And it's always about managing, suppressing consciousness, confusing our belief systems, and keeping us separate from one another.
That the entities that unplugged us were nourished not by physical matter, but nourished by emotion.
Yeah.
They actually were their sustenance was, and specifically fear.
Yes.
So fear feeds this entity that controls us, and so it's in their interest that we be afraid.
Yeah, there's I was just reading a book not so long ago where there's a ufologist that got invited to this seance thing where they were channeling and interacting with this like fucking demon or something, and they're all sitting in a circle, and then they put the one guy in the middle and he starts channeling and gets possessed by this entity, and first the entity's like, hey, we are these entities that are adjacent to you in another timeline and all this stuff, and we can't feel emotion, but we need you to host to help us feel emotion. But then shit starts going horribly wrong, paranormal stuff, the temperature drops, all this weird shit, and everyone in that room except for 2 people died within 6 months, and weird occurrences. And this guy was one of the guys that didn't. And what I find is really strange about that is that when you know, having a host consciousness in your body, and then looking at some of the visitations and what some of the evidence looks like, it looks like there's beings that don't have, it's like maybe they don't have souls, maybe they're AI. If something grew for millions, billions of years that never had a consciousness to begin with, like a fly or something, and then now it can kind of pop over laterally into our fucking timeline, it's going to come on you like flies on dog shit. Oh, what is this? Huh? What is this? And they're just like looking at you.
Right.
How scary would that be if you're in your bed and you got these big bug-eyed insects that are like, what are you? What is going on? And they start cutting you open, and they're like, and then all of a sudden you get scared, and they're like, that's an interesting energy. They're all, feel that. We can feel something. You know, I can see that being the case where emotion and feeling and love is like so gnarly. It's like they want to understand it. They want to have it. But what if they figure out, like, hypothetically, what if they figure out that that we're immortal, that our soul is part of something greater and bigger,
right? And
we might die and have a painful life, but we learned all our lessons, and we might reincarnate, you know, to learn more, whatever. And they're sitting here going, if we die, we have nothing. They're all, we want that. And then what if we have those interactions and we start writing books in the Bible? It says Satan wants your soul, demons want your soul. You know, it starts to all make a little bit more sense, right? That they're very interested in our consciousness and our soul. And they're very interested in making sure that we don't know they're here, and that we don't all align and understand who we are, what we're capable of. And like, because the truth is once we understand what consciousness is,
right,
once we understand that, then we start realizing you can move objects with your mind. You can hear people's thoughts telepathically. Like,
when you say that they're worried, the UFOs don't want humans to become too powerful. Like,
and I think there's more than one too. Like, I don't think there's like
right,
one group here, so it's hard.
Like
we
the
all
Greys?
Sure.
It's like it's like when it would be more
right,
better to say UFOs. It's probably better to say, you know, competing intelligences, because who knows?
Right.
It's like you're in the ocean, you see a dolphin, so you're like, okay, so this place is full of dolphins. Then you see a fucking jellyfish, you're like, whoa, that's weird. You see a whale, but then you see a Coke can, and you're like, then you find the boat. but you're still not even thinking that the boat's from land. You know, so we don't know. The universe has all that, you know.